Merci, Mathieu. Thank you for inviting me to present BioSyent. We're a Toronto-based Canadian specialty pharmaceutical company. I shouldn't go too fast through the forward-looking statements. I too will make some forward-looking statements, and it's based on what we know about our business today. Those things may change. So we look for unique and differentiated pharmaceutical products around the world that fill a need that is unmet here in Canada. We in-license or acquire those assets and then commercialize them here in Canada. We have a full platform that covers across the country with a commercial organization. We have a product portfolio that's growing, and I'll speak a little bit about products that we're in the process of launching or have launched and are in the process of growing and introducing to healthcare professionals, patients, and consumers across Canada. We typically are not an R&D company. We do some development on an asset or brand that we own, but we're essentially the commercial organization for pharmaceutical products. So we don't do R&D typically, and we don't manufacture. Everything else we do. So we complete supply chain, regulatory, medical, quality, and all of the support. We have a national sales organization. We call on over 5,000 doctors in Canada, and we call on about 3,200 pharmacies. Our products can be found literally in 10,000 pharmacies across Canada. I think there are about 10,500 pharmacies in Canada, including those in hospitals. That's just a sampling of our brands. I'm not going to talk about all of the brands. I'm going to focus my comments today on some of the products that we promote and those that we've just launched. So if there's kind of one slide from today's presentation that you take the message away from that, this would be the slide, and I find it a little bit awkward because I'm standing right in front of the slide. So I'm going to just stand back here for a minute on this one and just comment a couple things on that slide. I'm not sure if that improves the visibility. Trailing 12 months, about $29 million in revenue. We've been profitable for 12 and a half years, so 52 consecutive quarters of profitability. We're cash generating. Our return on equity is 16%. This is all on a TTM ending June 30th. And we earned 43 cents a share in that period of time. We have 10 products approved for the Canadian market. We're focused on Canada, but we sell some of our products. We out-license essentially. We have got distribution in the Middle East, and we're working on a couple of additional markets. I've mentioned we have a sales organization. So we in-license products, we get them approved by Health Canada, and then we promote those to doctors. So we introduce them to the doctors, to the pharmacists, and to hospitals across Canada. We've got 3 assets that we've just launched, and we've assessed our portfolio to achieve greater than $50 million in peak penetration. How do we arrive at that? Well, we know what our selling price is and is going to be. We model it out into the future. We build a 10-year model, a discounted cash flow model for every one of our assets. And we know through Equivia data, which is kind of market data that's provided to pharmaceutical companies if they're willing to pay the high price to get that data. We know the disease state, we know the competitive products that are available in the marketplace, and we can model the expected share of market that we get on those assets. So in sum, that would be about $50 million in revenue, in excess of $50 million in revenue from the current portfolio of products. We've got $28 million in cash on the balance sheet as of June 30th. We have no debt. We do have lines of credit available to us, but essentially we've been self-funded. The last equity raise that we did was about 21 years ago. That's the last time we raised equity, and in fact, we've been buying back our shares through an NCIB now for just short of 5 years. We've reduced the total shares outstanding by 17% and deployed, I believe, $16 million in capital in that exercise. The other thing that we've done is we've moved away from using share options as a equity compensation tool for leaders in the business and others in the business, and we've shifted to RSUs. So we haven't issued a share option now in over 4 years, 4.5 years. And we've gone to RSUs, and you might say, well, that could be just as dilutive, except we're using our strong balance sheet and we're buying shares in the open market and holding them in treasury, in trust, I should say, to satisfy our obligations under our RSU plan. So in essence, we have reduced our share count over this whole duration. The last thing I'd like to add is we have a committed management team. Our leadership team averaged 10 years in the business. Collectively, management and directors own 25% of the company. So we talk the talk and we walk the walk as well. We're owners, and we behave like it. So this is a look. I mentioned that we went 12 and a half years of profitability. This is kind of a chart of what that looks like. We became profitable for the first time in the second quarter of 2010, and we've got 13 years of profitability now subsequent to that. At that time, we had essentially our legacy product. We started life as an ag tech company, so we still have that product today, and we had FeraMAX. That was it. On the right side of the screen, you see the brands we have today, and the journey. The blue bars are revenue, and the line that you see there is profit. I'm going to show you in a moment here what our sales, EBITDA, and net income after tax over the last 3 years. So just to touch on a few. Sorry, this is the quarter, and I'll just go to the recent quarter to make sure I get the pointer right. 20% versus year ago. And you can see profitability. We're investing, we're launching products at the moment, and that requires investment in sampling, advertising, sales force presence in the doctor's office and in the pharmacy. So we're in an investment phase of the business. We have traditionally generated operating margins in the high 20s or 30%. So we expect that over the long duration of time we expect that to return. But in the meantime, we're generating strong cash flow and profitability. We're reinvesting in the business, in selling and marketing, and bringing new assets to market. This is a look at our last 3 years, and you can see profitability, consistent performance. We did some work on our portfolio last year. We dropped a couple of products from our portfolio, so we had a flat year in 2022 versus the year ago, but it's a strong upward growth trend. So our lead product is FeraMAX. It's an oral iron supplement. It's the #1 recommended oral iron supplement in Canada amongst both doctors and pharmacists, and that's across the country. So this is an independent survey that's done by Ensemble IQ. So we're the most recommended iron supplement, and that has provided us a really strong platform for innovation. And we're known for innovating in the category. We created the first offered powdered iron product in Canada. It was known as FeraMAX Powder. We then subsequently have made some moves with the FeraMAX brand. We reformulated in 2020. That reformulation has led to an opportunity for new products. So we essentially changed the entire base formulation of our product line to rejuvenate from a life cycle perspective and allow us the opportunity to introduce new products to the market. And I'll speak about a couple of those in a minute. So the first one First product I'd like to talk about is FeraMAX 45. So if anybody has had to take an iron product in the past, your perception of that is it tastes terrible. It tastes a little bit like metal, and that's because it is. It also, the one thing I should have mentioned about FeraMAX is that most iron products start the digestive process in your stomach, causes a lot of gastric upset. It's a nice way of saying, diarrhea, vomiting, stomach pain, and the like. It is, for many people, it is a very unpleasant experience. So FeraMAX is essentially carbohydrate wrapped around iron. It gets through the stomach, and the absorption process starts in the duodenum. I'm not going to get super scientific on you. I'm a business person. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm the least science-oriented person in our company. And I used to be able to say I'm a rookie in the pharma business, but I've been in it a while now, so I'm not a rookie anymore. So what we did after introducing FeraMAX 150 and FeraMAX powder is we introduced now FeraMAX 45. And this is to maintain patients. So you don't self-diagnose iron deficiency. You go to your doctor does blood work, you talk about symptoms, doctor recommends you take an iron supplement, hopefully they recommend FeraMAX, and then you're successfully treated on your FeraMAX, and you go, okay, everything's good, and you continue with your life the way it was. Well, if you're a woman, it's a heavy menstruator, or you have certain lifestyle choices or decisions or diet or issues with absorption of iron, that you are going to repeat having iron deficiency and anemia. And our data tells us that this occurs on average 4 times. So FeraMAX 45 is an innovation to not steal share from existing product. It's actually to build new use for the FeraMAX brand to keep people replete and maintain their iron levels. So it's a chewable tablet, not done in Canada. It's the first time a chewable tablet we've made actually iron taste good. We just launched in August, about a month ago, a new product, Inofolic. This is for polycystic ovary syndrome. It's something that I noticed there's mostly men in the room, and I'm gonna assume that 99.9% of you have never heard of PCOS. It is more widely prevalent than Canadians realize, and then in fact that women that have PCOS realize. It's an endocrine disorder, and we've brought this product from an Italian partner. It's been launched in multiple markets around the world, and we hope to address the 1.4 million women that have PCOS in Canada. We think the solutions that are being provided right now by other options to manage PCOS are not adequate, and we've had a very strong response to this product as we're going around right now visiting doctors. The last product that I'd like to highlight is Gelclair. So this is an interesting one in that we've announced it and we've started promoting it. We don't have any inventory in the warehouse yet. We expect that'll arrive by the end of the year. This is a product for oral mucositis. So if you are getting radiation therapy for head and neck cancer, or if you're getting chemotherapy for any cancer, quite often for radiation therapy, it's almost 100% of patients get oral mucositis. Think of large mouth sores. They're extremely painful. They make it difficult to eat, difficult to speak, and have a very debilitating impact on your quality of life. About 40% of chemo patients get oral mucositis. So this is essentially a gel that coats the inside of your mouth that allows the healing process to occur. This is a product that's been available in other markets around the world, and we're just introducing it to oncologists and oncology nurses now, and we'll start shipping it by the end of the year. So I mentioned before that we're about just under $30 million in revenue, that we expect our portfolio to take us north of $50 million in revenue. And essentially what you see here, what are going to be the growth drivers. We've got 6 products, including the 3 that I just mentioned, that are recent, fairly recent in the pharmaceutical industry. You know, you can measure that by years, product launches, and we expect those to be growth drivers. At the same time, when you're not an R&D shop, you're not, you know, if you come and visit us, we're not white lab coats and safety glasses. We find innovation around the world. So we find it in Europe, in Asia, in the United States, and we look for best in class. We are typically looking at niche products. So BioSyent exists to meet the needs for those healthcare professionals and patients on products that are not available from big pharma. So that's our niche, is that kind of mid and smaller market. We've built a good base case for partners and partnerships. We have multiple partners in across Europe and in New Zealand and the United States with whom we deal, and we in-license those products and then go through the commercialization process. So I mentioned before that we had $28 million of cash on the balance sheet. We've been deploying capital in buying back shares. We had $28 million and a 16% ROE, and the question I often get is, René, what are you going to do with the cash? So in addition to in-licensing, we work on M&A opportunities. It's different in our industry, where opportunities for company acquisition are not as common as it would be for product acquisition. So think of large pharmaceutical companies that might be divesting assets to focus on other areas. So that is an area of work that we're doing. We have not pulled the trigger on any M&A. It is part of the process, but we have a deal flow with new product opportunities, new licensing opportunities, where we've always got something on the go, and I think right now we've got term sheet discussions on several new product opportunities. So, you know, what I've showed you here on the screen in terms of what we have are things that we know that are in our basket, our portfolio, not things that we're working on. Anything else that you hear in the future about new licensing transactions will be future opportunities for growth. So, the answer to what are you going to do with the money? So, our strategy is essentially based on growing the revenue, diversifying our portfolio, and making decisions about how the business is going to exist for a long time. We build a strong business that's attractive for all of our stakeholders, our shareholders, employees, vendors, and future potential partners. So that's our strategy. The first dollar that's available goes to invest in growing the business, and if you are interested in this presentation and you do a little bit of a deeper dive, you'll see we're spending incrementally more on our selling and marketing to introduce these products to the Canadian marketplace. That's the first dollar we spend. However, we're cash generating, so we are increasing significantly our investment in promotion, and we're still cash generating. So we've been buying back shares. That's part of our model. We implemented or adopted a dividend policy late last year in the fourth quarter. We started paying a dividend in December, and in 2 days, I believe it's 2 days, we'll be paying our fourth quarterly dividend. That'll feature as an ongoing part of our program as a dividend. We continue to be active under an NCIB, but our focus is growing the business and expanding our portfolio. So we're not returning capital to shareholders because we don't think we have opportunities to grow. So the road forward is all of the above. So grow the assets that we have in the portfolio, find new ones through licensing and M&A, and the one thing that I would say that we are known for is prudent financial management. We're not going to just go do a deal or try and grow the business just for the sake of growing the business. It's a measured approach. One thing that just, this is on your right hand is the last 12 months are kind of, it's been extremely volatile. I would say this is a really brave room of people to be investing in small cap and micro cap in the current environment. It's been quite interesting. And so our shareholders haven't really been rewarded by the progress that we've made in the business, but that's okay. When the market coughs up shares at a really good value, we buy those shares. The reason we've got the cap table on the left for you is just to point out that we essentially have a commitment with RSUs, and we hold very similar, within a few thousand shares of our commitment on RSUs. We hold those in trust to make good on our RSU commitments. I think that's it.